Again, we're going to continue with the same example here, and you, of course, will continue by using your same database, which has to do with the organizations. What we're going to do now is look at output, getting the information in a nice form output, or inputting stuff into a database. You should recognize the database and the fact that when you first came into this class, that very first day, I had you basically create my gradebook by going and typing your personal information into a form, which was then put into a table. So that's how I set up my gradebook simply every year, is have the students type in their information. It's in a database, and I can do all sorts of calculations as you've seen. And that's how I calculate your grade. When you get a sheet from me, it's printed out from something called a report. And that's an output method on paper, is creating reports. And there's a whole system of Crystal Report that you can do this from a programming level, or actually just from the database level. It's simply choosing and creating a report. The other method for getting information up on the screen or printing out information they're called forms. And you can use forms for, you can't use a form, well, you can print out forms if you want to, but it's better to create reports to print out. And forms are used primarily on screen to show information so you can see and look at it. And you can set up the form in such a way that you can enter information this way or change information. So a form is handy. It's an input-output device on the screen. Now, the forms are a little more difficult and are very tedious if you try and create them in design view. So we're going to do something different. I'm going to first of all go down here to forms. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. So forms. Yes, I have a couple of forms here. Friends entry form. And that's one of the things you should have set up, is some sort of an entry form where you can enter the information in. So I'm going to go ahead and create, and we're going to create a form. And let's see, I'm going to use the wizard, as I said. If I can find the wizard here, form design. I'll bet this is the wizard. What do you want to bet? Okay. And of course, there's pivot chart forms and all sorts of things like that. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'll bet this is the wizard. I'm hoping it's the wizard. Let's give it a try. Okay, so it comes up like that. And by gosh, it just created it, period. It didn't ask me anything or check on anything. I wonder if there's a way I can get in there and do a wizard. I'm going to delete. Well, let's see. All that did is brought up the form I was on. It opened the one that was already there. Let's close it for a second. No, I don't want to do that. Create. Gotta be a way to do this. More forms. Let's see. What are these? Form wizard. There we go. Let's look at this one right here. Bingo. Now there's my form wizard. I can choose what I want on the form. Now I'm going to create an entry form, which means I want everything here. Now since my key is probably auto-numbered, I really don't need to include it. So here's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to take and put everything across. And then I'm going to go back up to the key and put it back over. So I'm not even going to look at the key. Okay? I'm pretty sure the key is auto number. Alright, so next, I've got some formats here. I've got columnar, I've got tabular, I've got datasheet view, I've got justify. Well, if I want to move things around, it's probably easier if I have it created like this and then I can just move them. So I'm going to do that. Next. And now I have some backgrounds. What type, how do you want it to look? There's one, there's another level. Let's see, Civic, Foundry. Those all look the same. Modular. Why am I not getting some pretty stuff here? They look the same. Oh, a little difference in them. I hope they're not all orange. Windows Vista. Interesting. Trek. Solus. Alright, well, I'm going to try this one and see. Hopefully it doesn't come up with that same look. Alright, and I'm going to call this Friends Second Entry Form. Now you don't have to put the word form, but I am. And it's going to open it immediately. So let's go ahead and finish, and it should open it quickly here. Bingo, there it is open. So that's what it looks like. And those are my fields. I'm not going to necessarily like all those fields. I may want to change things around and move them around a little bit. I may want to decrease this because I don't need as much space here. Let's see how I can do that. Well, first of all, I need to get my my properties up. Oh, where are the properties? Let's see. I shouldn't do that. I should click on the form and get properties. Properties are zeroed out. All right, let's try and save it and see if that'll let me do it. Here goes. Save. I should have done that. All right. An entry form. The club number, remember we made a drop down, and it always does that. It gives you a drop down. When you make a drop down in the thing, it gives you a drop down. So that's kind of handy. But let's see if I can move this around. Why is it not letting me? Oh, because I'm not in design view. Clever, right? Here we go. Design view. Now I've got all my properties up here just so I want what I want. Alright, so in design view, I'm going to make this a little bigger out to the side this way. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can move this. That one's fine like it is, but I want to make it smaller. Let's see if it's going to let me make just this one smaller. No, look, it's pushing everything in, which isn't exactly what I want. Let's see, I'm going to pull. Okay, so I got to figure out a way to detach these. And format. There is a way to detach that and to make it so they're separate and individual. Other sequence allow. Let's see what happens if I right click. Is there a anchoring fill properties we got up already? Build event, change order, tab order. It's not where you would expect it to be. Layout. There it is, right there. Layout, and it's stacked. And we want to remove the layout. Okay, so now it's an individual one. So if I do this, it just works on that one. Okay, so I didn't want the stacked layout. Okay, and let's do this. Let's do last name and put it over here. So I'm going to bring last name out and over to here. Okay, and it looks like it's stacked also. So let's see what happens if I do this and right click and layout. And yeah, it's stacked in tabular. I want to remove the layout. Okay, good. Now I should be able to go around. What? Where did that thing go? There we go. Title. And so I'm going to take this and move it up like that. Okay, and I'm going to bring this in. Just about like that. Then I'm going to bring the last name in about like that, and I'll move it over here to the end. Oops, that's not going to work. Let's see. I got to get this bigger. I'm going to make my form a little wider here. And you got to watch out for your screen size when you're doing this. But for the most part, it's not a big problem. On reports, however, you got to be careful because you end up with blank pages if you're not careful. Alright, so you see I can move things around, and if I'm careful I can, let's try this, let's get this a little more even here. Alright, there we go, that looks pretty good, and I'm going to bring this one up a little bit. And if I really don't like those in order, I can move these separately too. I can detach them. Alright, let's see what it looks like. Let's view it again. And so you see how I've changed that. That's how I've changed that like that. I can make these left justified so the names are right up against there. The headings. Let me go show you how to do that. We're going to go back into let's see, design view. And if I click on this one, I can go to I've got to bring it out here just a little bit to see it a little better. Maybe I'll scrunch this in a little bit since I don't need it that far out. Alright, what do we have here? Format. Okay, and it used to be a section called alignment. Let's see, do they have a text alignment now? Guidelines, where do we have this now? Let's go down here and see if we have text alignment or something like that. On a vertical top. Guidelines, don't care about that. Text align, here we go. So what am I going to do for text align? I want it right aligned, so that's going to be right aligned. We'll make this one. text align, right aligned again, and then we'll make this one right aligned. Okay. Now let's see what it looks like when we run it. View it like that as a form, and there you go. Okay, so you can see right there how you can manipulate the fields. Let's say I didn't want the fields up above. Let's say I wanted them or to the side. Let's say I wanted them above each thing. Well, that's as easy as well. So I come down here and I view design, and if I click here and I go just to here, let's see, just to that thing, I think I can move it above, but let's see what's happened here. Last name, first name, title got up here. Where did title get up there? All right, so let's say I want to put the title up here, okay, and then let's say I want to put the first name up here. Oops, nope. Got to make sure I get this, not get both of them. There we go. Let's see, is that working? Nope, still not working. Okay, now let's see if I can do this. There we go. You got to remove that layout. That's the whole trick to it, is removing the layout. You got to make sure it's removed. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so these are some things you can do with forms. You can basically set them up in such a way that they will be viewed the way you want to see them. And of course, I got that in the wrong place. Why did I get that in the wrong place? That's strange. I put the wrong field over top of the wrong field is what happened. All right, so let's go back and make that correction quickly. Yep, there it is. This should be in top and that should be in the bottom. So let's see. I want to move this down. And I want to move this one up. There we go. Bingo. Now let's see what it looks like. View. Yeah, that's much better. And of course, I could center them if I wanted to over the fields, and it would look better. So you can do rearrangement, and that's what you should do with your forms. All right? They're for display, they're for enter, they're for takeout. So you should add a few more people to your database. Make an entry form for your database. Add a few more people to it. And then you can show me how you add people to that database using your form. And you should have all the fields, except if you don't need a key, you don't. You see, you can maneuver here from 1 to 24 by going through. I can step through the records, and I can see each person's record, so that's one thing I can do. There are 24 records in my database. All right. 35 records in my database. And that's the blank one. That's where you add in. So I can go back through it this way. All right, so that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to add that to your organization's database. And while you're doing this, keep in mind that you're getting ready to do a bigger project here. But this little project, I'm going to give you credit for each point you do on your organization one, and then finally coming in. We could also use a query here to make a form, which means I would get more information from it if I wanted to. So tables or queries can be used to create forms, and that's how you're going to do it.